Hello, this is Evangelist Dr. Robert L. McKim Sr. I wanted to talk real quick about, well, I've been having some health issues, and there's days that basically, I hurt more than other days, and then there's issues I really don't want to talk about on video that's been going on with me. But also I wanted to talk about a little bit about, well, doctors, for instance. You talk to a doctor about your health problems, and sometimes it seems like it goes in one ear and right out the other, and all they do, they tell you, well, we gotta, run tests, we gotta send you to this specialist or that specialist before we can determine what's wrong. And usually by the time they find out what's wrong, it's usually too late. And Renee has been dealing with some health issues lately too. She has been having pain in her, it started in her right side, and it moved over to her middle abdomen area, and thought she was going to start her monthly, but she hasn't yet. Talked to her OBGYN last week about it. Friday. It was Friday when she went for her, finally got to go to for her yearly examination. Told the doctor she was in pain, but the doctor, their examination and breast examination was actually more concerned about a lump she felt on Renee's breast than she was about the pain that Renee was enduring during the examination and for 2 weeks before the examination. We told the OBGYN, hey, Renee has had ovarian cysts and endometriosis in the past and had a DNC. But it's like, well, went in one ear and right out the other. And so I took her to ER Saturday in Dover, Ohio, and they put her on a pain medication and told her to go for ultrasound. Well, normally she takes a lot of medication at bedtime that makes her sleepy. And she usually sleeps in sometimes till around 10, 11. But with the added pain medication, she's been sleeping a lot longer. Even after she gets up. Right now, it is currently 10:14 a.m. And this is Renee, sleeping in her chair. She's trying to wake up, but she can't stay awake. And of course she has sleep apnea, so she stops breathing and she starts again, and she stops and she starts. But long story short, doctors, I would like for you to take all this medication that you prescribe her to knock her out like this. And then when we had the issue with our vehicle not running for about two and a half months, Carroll County Transit Service, they expect people to go to appointments in the morning so they can be done and back in the garage by 4:30 p.m. They were going to leave us hanging in Denison, Ohio, with no way home. They were going to take us to an appointment, drop us off, and then we would have to find our own way home. That is what they told me. We had no way home. I have family, but my son works. My ex-wife, she's tied up into what she does. My dad, he was in Florida at the time. But still, when I had this procedure done back on the 20th, and then I end up running a slight fever, and was having some other difficulties, and my urinologist wanted me to go back up to the hospital, to their office, to get checked out again. Guess what? I had no way unless I went to the ER by ambulance. And then I probably would not have no way home. Because I had no money. And hospitals around here don't pay for taxi services. They do not do that. They might help you with a bus pass, but buses do not come to Carrollton, Ohio. They only go as far as Waynesburg, which is in Stark County. Carroll County does not have a bus service, and the bus line does not come down to Carroll County. So let's get some things straight. Alright, there are programs that are available for the disabled and the elderly, but basically you gotta give up your entire life, who and what you are. I would have to basically give up being a Skywarn storm spotter, an amateur radio operator. I could probably still have my ministry in an apartment complex, but that would be all. Because of the fact, when you're in an apartment complex, you're under a lot of stupid, retarded rules. And what does retarded mean? Retard means to hinder, to hold back. And that's what those rules do. They hinder people and they hold them back from fulfilling their full potential. Basically, those apartments are mainly meant for the elderly that are retired, or the disabled that basically don't have no chance for a life. I did not study and study and study and study and study with the Universal Life Church and study the Bible and took other Bible courses just so I could have all my rights stolen from me because of rules. This is what gets me. It seems like rules always trump the law. But when I read the law, it says the law trumps rules. So which is it? Is rules more important than the law? The letter of the law? I mean, it seems like when you take somebody to court and you tell them, here's what the law says, but they're like, oh, well, here's what our rules say. And the rules always trump the law. Yeah, especially if you don't have a good lawyer that knows how to, get around those rules. Or you get a lawyer that's basically a joke, like a court-appointed attorney, that's not really out to, really help you at all, but basically is only there to try to get you the lesser sentence. It's like basically you are guilty in this country until you're proven innocent, instead of innocent until proven guilty. They do not want to prove your innocence. They just want to prove your guilt. And that is what the trend is going for in law enforcement. If you have a gun, even if it's a toy gun, you're guilty and you're going to be shot if you do not comply. It's all about compliance. It's not about the law. It's like the lady that will not give her name out in California. The police officer said, at first in the video, he said to the other lady, there was no crime. Then he goes to the other lady, the color lady, and because she wouldn't give her name, then a crime was committed in that police officer's mind because the law says you have to give your name. She gave her first name, but she wouldn't give her last name. Because actually, when it comes right down to it, if there was no law broke to begin with, she didn't really have to give her name. That's also the law. But see, police officers, they only focus on one law. You have to comply. You have to give your name no matter what. Because that is what they're being taught, and that is their mindset. They're not being taught, wait a minute, a citizen really doesn't have to divulge their name if there's no crime committed. But in the mind of the police officer, there is a crime committed if you don't give your name. So there's two mindsets going on here. The citizen that knows the law, and the police officer that's only trained for one thing and one thing only: to find a law that somebody is breaking and to arrest them and bring them in on charges and to tear their life all to hell and back again. This is what our justice system has came down to. Everybody is guilty of something. The problem is doctors are guilty of not doing their jobs. I mean, used to, you go to a doctor, he say, wait a minute, let me open up the book and see what it says here in the book. Nowadays it's tests, specialists, and by the time you get all done, the damage is already done. And you're probably on the verge of your deathbed. So let's get it straight, people. Everything has been turned upside down, inside out. And that is why God is angry with America. God is angry with America because we have destroyed unborn children. We are accepting sexual sin in the church. The church is sinning. The church doesn't even have the backbone anymore to stand up against Satan and our leaders, our false, corrupt leaders. Because we're afraid if we do stand up, then our 501c3 is taken from us. Well, what did Jesus say to begin with? Render unto Caesar's what is Caesar's. In other words, pay your taxes. 501c3 is a joke, especially when it's held against a church. If you do the right thing. And oh yeah, and then what else he said? Render unto God what is God's. Are you rendering unto God what is God's? No, you're not. You're rendering unto man what is man's. Period. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. You say you're godly, but you're a coward when it comes right down to it. You're a coward. And then with that teacher, the woman that worked in the cafeteria, that was helping children that couldn't afford a full lunch. They only were getting sandwiches. As the saying goes, no good deed goes unpunished. And that is what is happening in America. Good deeds are being punished. People are losing their jobs who are doing something good. They're being arrested for doing something good. They're being ticketed for doing something good. You can't do anything good in America anymore, even if it's under the name of a church. Because somebody's always guilty. Somebody's always guilty is the mindset. And especially Christians are guilty of not accepting disgusting sin in America. My ex-wife, after she divorced me, was seeing somebody, and then supposedly because that somebody treated her wrong, she decided to go and become bisexual, and then now she's a lesbian. She has a woman living with her. But before all this happened, she was a Christian. We went to church, and I asked the church that we were going to go and talk to her. Find out why she doesn't want to come to church no more. And you know what they said to me? We can't make anybody do anything they don't want to do. Now, what kind of church is that doesn't want to do what the Bible says? You get the elders and you go and you confront somebody, is what the Bible says. The elders don't want to do their job anymore in the church. All they just want to do is sit back and mind their own business. And when I preach the truth, I get holy hell. But there was a guy the other day that called me on my cell phone. He looked me up from the state of Washington. He doesn't know for sure if he should become ordained or not through the Universal Life Church because of all the issues that I've been having with people running their mouth, running their fingers, and saying lies. And they expect me to apologize. I'm not apologizing for preaching the truth. I'm not apologizing for calling people morons, because that's what they are. They should apologize to me for calling me a blank blank hole. Jim Jones. So, and other names. But no, they think they're better. They can call me all those kind of names. But I gotta apologize for calling people morons. Moron means somebody that has a childlike mindset. Well, there's a lot of Christians out there with a childlike mindset because they want everything to be good, everything fine, and nothing bad is going to happen to them. That's a childlike mindset. That's not the truth. Jesus said, I came to bring a sword, a division, basically to divide the sheep from the goats. And they are goats when it comes right down to it. Jesus said he will judge the nations based on whether or not we are sheep or goats. If we do what we want him to do, we are sheeps. If we are always butting heads, then we're goats. Are you a goat or are you a sheep? Are you following Jesus Christ like I am and getting holy hell for following Jesus Christ and Jesus Christ's teachings and the truth? It's time to make up your mind. Get off the fence. Either you're hot or you're cold. If you're lukewarm, God said, I will vomit you out of my mouth. Make up your mind before it's too late. God bless you. Have a blessed day.